Namaste. My name is Aadil Palkhivala and I have a story to tell you. This is in 1968. My mother, Aadil Palkhivala, had just undergone severe surgery where she was opened up for 4 hours by the best doctors in India, and they did bladder repair, they did hysterectomy, they did a whole bunch of stuff because she was suffering so much before that. And what happened is, because her hormones shifted from that surgery, she suffered severe depression. And this is again in Bombay in the 60s. And because of her depression, she decided to try something, so she decided to do art. So she found an art teacher and she studied art with her. And she started to feel a little better. And on the art teacher's wall, there were pictures of a woman and a man whom she just glanced at occasionally, and then continued her studies in painting. She did some beautiful works in painting, actually. And then what happened was, one day she was asleep in her bedroom in Bombay, in Nesbagh, the name of the building. And it was a hot night, and so all the doors and windows were closed and the air conditioner was running. And she tells me that it was about 3 o'clock because she heard the clock chime 3, and she's still going through that depression. But she heard it chime 3 and then she shut her eyes. And she said she just dozed off when she heard a click. And so she opened her eyes. What is that click? And she saw the door open of her bedroom. This is in the middle of the night, just past 3 a.m. And so she looked at the door, and this old lady walked into the room. And she got a start. An old lady is walking into the room in the middle of the night, actually physically opening the door. And so she said she got frightened and shut her eyes. And then she opened her eyes and she was gone. The old lady was gone. So she woke up my father. His name is Behram. Behram, wake up. Some old lady just came into the room. And he was a very famous lawyer, and he'd been in bed late, and so he was tired. He said, no, you're making stuff up, go to bed. He said, no, I saw it with open eyes. The door opened and an old lady walked in. My father said, there's no old lady in the house. Hey, get up and see, there is some old lady. So my father begrudgingly got up and went through the whole house and came back and said, there's no old lady. And my mother was concerned, what happened? And the next day, she was back in art class. And the art teacher felt that something was off. So she said, what happened to you? You look a little tired. And my mother said, it was a strange thing. Yesterday at night, the door of our air-conditioned room opened and an old lady walked into my house. And the art teacher, whose name is Bhakti Shah, she said, oh, that must have been the mother. So my mother said, the mother? Who the mother? So he said, do you see the pictures up there? That's the mother and Sri Aurobindo. So my mother looked at them and said, no, that's not possible, because she didn't look like that at all. And Bhakti Ben, the art teacher, said, oh, that's because that picture was taken 30 years ago. This is what the mother looks like today. And she went into her drawer and pulled out a current photograph of the mother in the 60s. And my mother looked at that and said, that's the woman. That's the woman who came into my house. And so Bhakti Ben said, yes, of course. She must have come to bless you. And then that event changed our lives, because my mother said, if somebody like that takes their time and energy to come to see me, the least I can do is go and see them. And so Bhakti Ben said, yes, she's alive. She lives in Pondicherry. And this is when the mother was in her 90s. And so my mother convinced my father to go to Pondicherry, and so the whole family went. And we actually met the mother in 1968 in May. And then we went several times and met her many times. I was fortunate to have been blessed by her many, many times. And that started our connection with the mother and Sri Aurobindo. Then my mother, of course, went full steam into it. She became one of the trustees of the Sri Aurobindo Society. And we have had an intimate relationship with the Sri Aurobindo Ashram, the Sri Aurobindo Society, with Auroville. We were there when the foundation of Auroville was being laid, Matra Mandir was being laid. My mother put in the first stones into the grinding machine. And so we've been absolutely devoted to the philosophy of the mother and Sri Aurobindo. Fast forward a few years, and on my honeymoon, I asked my wife, where do you want to go? And she said, where do you want to go? And I said, Pondicherry. So after we got married in Bombay, we had our first honeymoon in Pondicherry. And that's when my wife Savitri was exposed to the energy of the mother and Sri Aurobindo, whom she now, of course, connects with freely and channels all the time, because Sri Aurobindo is her teacher. So today, we have founded a system based on the great Sri Aurobindo and the mother's work, based on my experience with BKS Iyengar Hatha Yoga, and based on Savitri's experience with the mother and Sri Aurobindo and the great masters. And it's a whole system called Purna Yoga. We got purnayoga.com because we wanted to preserve it for Sri Aurobindo's lineage. And when you go to purnayoga.com, you will see that it is actually the work of Sri Aurobindo and the mother as it applies to our society today. Purna Yoga has 4 major branches: heartful meditation, asana pranayama, nutrition and lifestyle, and applied philosophy. And the whole work is to prepare ourselves and the world for Sri Aurobindo's vision of the supramental consciousness becoming a part of the human body and the evolution of the human body into the supramental body, or the Superman. We are working on this actively. We have groups meeting regularly. We have centers all over the world, Purna Yoga centers, where our college is being taught. We have teacher training programs, all designed on our great master's work, the mother and Sri Aurobindo's work of the transformation of consciousness. I welcome you to come to our centers, and I look forward to seeing you very soon.